And hello and good morning. This is Bowles TV, BOLES .TV. I'm David Bowles, happy to be here with you. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. So far, so good. 4 months of broadcasting at 9 a.m. And we're very happy to have you with us. I fixed my lights. For some reason, they started working again with the software, because usually what I do is I plug them in, they turn on at the default. When I'm done, unplug them. Then magically, today, I tested them, and they were working with the control center again from Elgato. So I am not quite as burned out as I was yesterday and the few days before. A little more facial structure, a little more texture, a little older, but not quite as burning bright white. There's a little bit of warmth. And that's what I did. I turned them up warm because they default to kind of an ugly white, light, fluorescent glow that doesn't look good on anybody. And I could play around with it even more and make myself look even more warm. I was going to say orange because that's what they look like, but warm, I think, is the proper technical color when you're describing the qualities of light. Well, it's interesting when you stream. I try to stream 2 hours a day. January streams for an hour each day on Saturday and Sunday. And lately I've been watching some other streamers on Twitch to see what they do and how they do it. The people who make $8 million a year. There's a young woman who I believe makes $1.2 million a year. Her name is Pokimane. Very interesting stream, very friendly. And what she's doing now is playing Grand Theft Auto. And she's new to the game. XQC, who's the $8 million man, is the expert and runs all the gangs. So he knows how to play. He tells other people how to play. He knows all the secrets. You go underground, you get in a boat, you get a helicopter, all these really interesting things that I didn't even know existed in the game. Well, some of Pokimane's friends have adopted her into their gang. And so she's learning how to drive and learning how to steal things and make money and survive. It's very funny. But it's just fascinating to me how she can sit there for 8 hours sort of playing her game and chatting with her chat and ordering sushi and eating it on air and then having a chocolate-covered strawberry and chatting. And it's all very reasonable and friendly. And I think that makes $1.2 million a year, sitting in a chair playing a game. Whereas for 4 months, I try to come here, prepare a show, try to talk about something interesting. That's a lot of work, and it wears you out. And then you're done with 2 hours. Then you take a little break, get everything uploaded to the YouTube, and then it's time to prepare the next day's show, which takes a few hours because there's a lot to read. You want to kind of try to have a theme. And you sort of want to have everything connect to each other, and maybe that's just the old school teacher in me, where I want to have something that makes sense. there's Miss Dora. Good morning, Dora. I don't get it. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I should just get a copy of Grand Theft Auto, excuse me, and just sit here and chat and play online with friends and steal things. And because I'm old, I used to be an old gamer, but I'm not really a new gamer. But what's so interesting about these new online games, especially Grand Theft Auto, is you're talking to characters. You have headphones and a microphone, and you're there talking to them, and they talk back to you. So it is very communal. The Grand Theft Auto is not really a game you go on there and play by yourself. Go in God mode and shoot things up. You have to rely on other people. And there are other people playing roles of EMT technicians and people playing the role of cops and storekeeps. And you could be a good guy or a bad guy, or you can kind of mix around and jump around and be all kinds of different people. And within the game, there is a telephone, and within the game, you have bank accounts, and within the game, you can tweet, but they don't call it tweeting, they call it twapping or something, I don't know. And other people who are in the game. And you make new friends, and you collaborate, and then you, I guess, form a gang of 4 people, and then you go around and create havoc. Oh, Dora thinks I should give up what I'm doing and just become a gamer. And maybe I should. I'm not even sure what games you can play online like that. I guess they want you to play their games, but I don't know if you need permission or how that works. I don't know. There's Dora. I would be totally useless. Maybe I can be Dora Croft. No, I give up. Yeah. And then one of my favorite streamers, Hikaru Nakamura, who is a grandmaster at chess, has a lovely stream every day. He streams for 7 or 8 hours, but he's actually playing chess for 7 or 8 hours. He's not playing a game. Once in a while, he'll play a game, and he's terrible. And he knows he's terrible. And his chat screams at him, saying, no, look the other way, pick it up. What other way? Chat, what am I missing? But now, Hikaru has taken to watching episodes of Survivor on his live stream. Obviously, he has the rights to do this. They're probably paying him something to play episodes of Survivor and comment on them. And he'll go from 12,000 people watching his stream to 5,000 people watching his stream the second he starts watching Survivor. And I understand he's there for 9 hours. He's moving back to Florida. He needs content. He needs to be on the air a lot so he can earn his advertising money, and it's hard. It's hard to fill time if you're not playing Grand Theft Auto. So he's not playing Grand Theft Auto. He's playing episodes of Survivor. And he doesn't really have anything to add, so he just kind of plays the episode, commenting every once in a while. So when he starts that, I have started to not watch him anymore. I'm one of the few that leave. And that's how I discovered Pokimane, because she was broadcasting at the same time. And I thought, oh, now this is interesting. I've read about her. And because she is a girl, a female, she gets a lot of hatred online from men. Because guys, young boys don't want girls playing games. Gamergate, you can look that up on Google, big thing a few years ago. And so, like maybe a month ago, she was hate-rated relentlessly by a group of kids. And she has an open chat, so I guess she put up with it. But she was very bothered by it, and people got thrown off of Twitch forever for encouraging it. And her chat now is fine. It's very friendly. So she has survived. She's made it through. And she's 25 years old. And I think she said yesterday she's been streaming like that for 8 years. And that's a long time. That's your life. She says her day off is Thursdays. And she was supposed to be off yesterday, but she decided to stream anyway. Because the gang at Grand Theft Auto was going to take down a bank. And it is fascinating because you're watching and they're a group of incompetents. They break into the bank, they get into the vault door closes behind them. They get all the money and they can't get out. They're locked in the vault. And they have some kind of missile that they were planning to use to shoot open the vault door. And they use the missile and it doesn't open. So they're stuck. So their lookout they have upstairs, outside of the vault, who's holding a hostage. They say, "What are you guys doing? Where are you?" They say, "We're locked in the vault. Call the police to get us out," which is hilarious. So the police arrive, there's negotiation, they kill the hostage. The police blow up the vault door, enter the room, and kill everybody within 2 seconds because they have better guns and better ammo, and everybody's dead. Now when you're dead, you can respawn or you can be taken to the hospital and be revived, and it's a 3-hour process. Uh-oh. My Bullsbot says the Dora is cursing. And she's been timed out for 1 second and all of her messages have been deleted. Maybe you would be good at Grand Theft Auto. There is a lot of cursing. Oh. Something's happening. Maybe Dora's chat has been taken over. Maybe she is no longer the Dora we know, and she has been corrupted by Pokimane. Pokimane does say the F word a lot. But she's funny. Cute. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, the things she says, the way she talks is very fun. Another way for breast. I'm not sure what the sentence is, but I think I have to loosen up the foul language filter, I guess. If it's catching my friend Dora, who doesn't say anything bad about anybody, unless it's not Dora, unless she's been taken over by Pokimane. Which could be a possibility. You never know. So it's fascinating. So I'm here working, getting ready for the show, and Pokimane's on there, stuck in a vault for 3 hours. And she can't get out. And then she went to jail, sentenced to 18 months in jail, 2 years probation, $50,000 fine. Now, in the world of Grand Theft Auto, I think that's like half a day where you're in jail. And when you're in jail, I don't think you can do anything. I think you just have to wait till you get out of probation. And then you get out and you go right back at it, and you have to get all your guns again, and you have to get all your money again, and it's really a fascinating kind of world. So let's take a look at our friend Ethereum and see how it's doing today. It looks very healthy compared to yesterday. For a few days, it's been really down. 2,500, 2,600. It's creeping back up to the magical $3,000 level. Another word for breast. I was speaking of my nieces who watched this guy, Ranboo, who makes millions. Oh. There's a secret to making millions, and I'm not sure what it is. Because the personalities on these live streamers are important. You would think. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just what's important is the game they play. I mean, XQC, who is the #1 streamer on Twitch and in the world, I find unwatchable. He has a mumble mouth and he has a terrible personality. Pokimane, on the other, is very charming and very friendly, and she has a quality about her that you want to watch. But what do I know? I have 12 viewers, and on average, XQC has 80,000 people watching him every day, streaming from his basement. And I believe I read he just bought a $300,000 Bentley, and he doesn't even drive. Make millions in the UK. Very interesting. And they have a whole new language. They speak to me, and I don't understand a word of it. Yeah, maybe that's part of my problem. XQC does speak in some kind of code. But I know he does have an accent, too, because I believe he's Canadian, so maybe it's my American ear is not catching what he's saying, but he speaks very quickly. Pokimane, on the other hand, is very relaxed, and I can understand every word she speaks. So our friend Ethereum is doing better today. This makes me very happy. Because what I've noticed is, especially on OpenSea, is the high production artists who sell their NFTs. Over the last, I would say, 7 days, because Ethereum is tanking, they are not putting up new work to be purchased. Because let's say they're selling it for 1 Ethereum. They put it up now for 1 Ethereum, expecting to get the floor, which has been $3,000. And they put it up today, and they're going to get paid $2,700. So they're losing $300 just by not waiting. So I think a lot of them are waiting to see if this line continues to move upward or if it's going to fall back to 2,600 again, which it was earlier in the day, but now it's going up. But the second that we have this full-scale war, or whatever it's going to be in the Ukraine and USSR, is going to tank again, which is bad for artists, but great for collectors because you can really get good deals on some of this art. And there are people in the Discord forums who are saying, look, I need liquidity. I'm selling this fast. If you can buy it from me right now at this price, we have a deal. Excuse me. And it's working. So it's a fascinating kind of, not underground, but it's a fascinating side hustle to the traditional stock market and finance. Here's our gas fees for the day. OpenSea, $16. Not bad. I had to update my avatar on my Ethereum name account because the animated GIF I was using was not taking and propagating properly. So I had to change it back to my regular ugly face. Let me see if I can find it for you. And that cost me $6, which isn't bad because the last time I updated my profile just to fix the avatar cost me $30. And you can't predict it. You can't say, oh, what do you know? I'm going to update this right now. It doesn't work that way. The price you pay is the price they decide you're going to pay. That's how it works. And you can't predict gas. Now, I don't know if they have some kind of system like the stock market does where you can say, okay, upload this and gas me up when the gas price falls below this point. Maybe that's how these artists do it. Because I believe to post a piece of artwork, you have to pay gas as the artist. So to put it online for sale as an NFT, you have to pay the gas, set the price, and then other people buy it and then have to pay a fee to OpenSea, and then they pay the gas price. So this, I went back to this. I was using my Tokyo Dave mashup, but it wasn't coming across. So I've gone back to the original Ian Jones artwork that I used. It's my very first one of one, and I guess that's appropriate. My very first .eth name with my very first one of one avatar. Yes, gas fees can be pretty expensive, yeah. And there's no way around it, Dora. That's the interesting part. It doesn't seem like a certain time of day. Like Super Bowl Sunday, gas prices were unbelievable. To do one thing was $300 on Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know why. People are supposed to be watching the game. And then sometimes at 5:30 in the morning, gas prices are very low, and sometimes at 5:30 in the morning, gas prices are the highest they've ever been. So it's very frustrating. And I know the people who run this .eth domain are trying to find, I get what they call a level 2 exchange, where the gas prices will be 0 or pennies if you want to update your profile like this. So that's very good. So if you want to have a subdomain off of your eth name, the windows are open. It's 62 degrees and cloudy skies in Jersey City. No chance for rain today. and wind is low at 7 miles per hour north-northwest. So to update this information, instead of having to pay between $30 and $6, you'll pay nothing. And then you can add a subdomain like david.bowles.f or jana.bowles.f or asl.bowles.f or scriptprofessor.bowles.f and so on. So that's all coming. And it all sounds like a domain name, but it's not a domain name. It's a name association. This is just a replacement for a 14 alphanumeric code that is your virtual wallet online. So what else is in the news? Oh, I see my city information. Let's see, code phrase. I see my something from Dora is out for delivery. And that something is a beautiful piece of artwork of our beautiful cat Jack that she created for us. And is arriving today, not tomorrow. Yeah! So now we have crypto scamming when it comes to romance. It's a fascination. Gone are the days of easily debunked Nigerian prince email shakedowns. Now cryptocurrency scammers. Yes, Dora, that's what I said. What? When it was sent yesterday, when I got the email, which I think happened 1 minute before you DM'd me on Twitter and said, hey, I sent it. I got the email saying, hey, you're getting something from the code phrase tomorrow. And I thought, wow, that's good. And I wasn't sure what it was. And then you emailed, and then you told me, and I said, oh, that's what it is. And you thought it was coming Thursday, but it looks like it's coming today. Which is very delightful. But it's not going far. So if it were FedEx, it would go to Tennessee first, and then it would come here. I think it went right from New York to our depot in New Jersey, and is now on its way, which is the smart way to handle these kind of things. Now cryptocurrency scammers are leveraging the age-old trickery of romance on dating apps like Hinge. I've never heard of Hinge. I don't know anything about dating apps. I've been married to the same person for 33 years and counting. Not that I'm counting, but someone else is counting. Every single day of every minute, she's counting and counting and counting. 33 years of this. 33 and more. In a ploy known as pig butchering, victims have reported losing entire inheritances and retirement funds following fake online engagements designed to win over their trust. Ugh, it's hard to even read. One 24-year-old woman from Tennessee lost $300,000 last year after a man she met on Hinge convinced her to invest in a phony crypto exchange site, the New York Times reported on Monday. A 52-year-old man from Denver had $1.6 million stolen in a nearly identical scheme that also started on Hinge. As romance scammers find new ways to defraud people simply looking for a meaningful connection, we continue to explore and invest in new updates and technologies to ensure we're keeping our daters as safe and as protected as possible. Victims of romance scams like these have lost a total of $1.3 billion over the past 5 years, the highest in any fraud category, according to the FTC. In 2020 alone, reported losses hit a record-breaking $547 million. That's nearly an 80% increase from 2020. At the same time, the use of cryptocurrency in romance scams has exploded over the past 3 years. What starts out as a casual investment, some advice from an online crush, snowballed into a total of $139 million lost in bogus cryptocurrency payments last year. And that is unfortunate. People prey on vulnerable people looking for love, and they say, well, yes, we can go on a date, but I have this NFT I'd like to sell you. And yes, it says it's 1 Ethereum, but I'll sell it to you for 7 Ethereum because it's going to triple in price the moment I sell it to you. Now, that's very sophisticated. I've also ideas that they say, hey, invest in this NFT exchange, and it's shady and scam-like, and that's how they lose all their money. But some people are very vulnerable. And these professional criminals know a mark when they see one. Oh, I know exactly who she is and how she feels. And I know what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to steal all her money. I'm going to convince her to change her dollars into Bitcoin and have her send it to me so I can take an airplane to see her, and I'll keep the money. Makes it much easier to do a scam, especially on the blockchain, where everything is available, and in many ways, everything is still anonymous. That's why I like these bowls.ff names that you can register and identify yourself, and you're on the blockchain, and people can verify who you are and where you're coming from and what you've done on the internet right there. Better than ID.me. And now we're going to take our very first blood pressure break of the day. We will be back momentarily. Well, we are back from break. This is Bowles TV, BOLES.TV. Video on demand is BOLES.live. Well, on break, Dora said, in Singapore, a woman got scammed out of $250,000. Not sure if it involved crypto. Definitely not NFTs. Yeah, NFTs, I think, are harder to scam somebody out of because they know what they're getting. And I don't think you can do a direct sale. Well, I guess you could if you did it offline. Said, you know, you have the price of 1 Ethereum. I'll give you half of that if you sell it to me right now. So you send the money, and then they would gift the NFT to you. And if they just didn't gift it to you, then your money's just gone. So I guess that's one way of scamming. The word you wanted to use sounded like tube, breast tube, old term. It doesn't make sense that would be a word violation, but it is Streamlabs that's censoring you. But I checked my dirty words list, and I'm going to check it again. And my dirty words list that I entered myself doesn't have anything like that word, which I assume is B-O-O-B. I guess you could spell it with spaces or something. But caps protection, symbol protection, link protection, word protection, preferences. I check my blacklist, and the words I have are very rough words. I would read some of them to you, but they're awful words. But none of them are B-O-O-B. Although I should add one now that I'm thinking about it. So there's some reason that Streamlabs is modding this. Now close to included quotes. Let me see what happens if I try to type it. I guess it's because I'm the host, they let me say that. Or maybe I need to make it. No. Now I just added a bad one myself because we're on this topic. I'm going to see if I get modded. No. So that if you type that word in chat, you'll be Streamlabs is going to go down your throat. So don't type that word. But I thought maybe it was coming from the Twitch side, because Twitch also has bad words. But the bad word police that got Dora was coming from Streamlabs, not Twitch. Well, it's interesting. It's interesting that I can curse on my own stream, but nobody else can. Which I find kind of fun and fascinating in a way, I guess. So what else is in the news? Makes me happy. IHOP, the International House of Pancakes, which serves terrible breakfast food. Very delicious pancakes, but their breakfast food is high cholesterol and full of not good things. Until now. IHOP just launched its first vegan breakfast sandwich. IHOP is testing the plant-based Cali, its first vegan breakfast sandwich made with Sweet Earth vegan sausage and just egg, which is very delicious, made with mung beans, but it's very good. At one location before a potential national rollout. Well, I don't think you could be any happier than that. Be able to go to a place like IHOP and get a delicious, healthy vegan sandwich. Now, when I was teaching in Newark, New Jersey, at several universities there, it's really a wonderful city. Bad reputation. Good people, good education. There was one IHOP near the medical school. And I remember IHOP from my childhood, and there are not a lot of IHOPs around where we are, or have been. So I always wanted to go to that IHOP. Excuse me. It's 9 o'clock. Neighbors. Hotboxing. And the line was always, it was in like a parking lot. This little tiny IHOP surrounded by a parking lot. And the line around the IHOP 10 years ago went outside and around the parking lot. And you looked inside the windows, every seat full. And people would say you'd have to stand in line for an hour or two to get a seat. And then people would complain that once you got in there, they were out of everything you would ever want because they're so busy. So I never got to eat at that IHOP. But I thought, boy, if somebody smart would expand that space a little bit, or at least, try to go across the street and make another IHOP 2 or 3, because you'd make a lot of money. People, I guess, want their pancakes. Well, I don't want to talk about this, but I feel obligated to talk about it because we talk about stuff like this on this stream, even if they're unsavory. Donald J. Trump has his new social network up and running. Truth Social, the Twitter competitor, which is not going to be very successful because people of that ilk like to go on Twitter and harass people that they believe are liberals. When they're all in their own silo, and no liberal is going to go join Truth Social, it's going to be an echo chamber, and they're not going to turn on each other, even though sometimes they do. They like to go pick on people. And nobody that they're going to pick on is going to go join Donald Trump's Truth Social. But that doesn't mean it's not making money. Truth Social, which counts former President Donald Trump as its chairman, and former Congressman Devin Nunes as its CEO, soared to the #1 download app on Apple's App Store as of yesterday morning. But that strong demand led to reports of countless error messages and more than 100,000 interested users being waitlisted. I guarantee they're not progressives and they're not Democrats. Due to massive demand, we have placed you on our waitlist. We love you, and you're not just a number to us, but your waitlist number is below. Users who did create an account were unable to post or see the post of other Truth Social apps as of Tuesday morning. I don't think they have any idea how to scale this. That seems to be the problem. Truth Social will mark Trump's return to social media after he was banned from various platforms, including Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, in the wake of the Capitol riots last year. His followers are nuts. Sorry, they will make him money. I know they seem like they can't get enough over giving him money, and I don't understand it. I understand he is charming in person and has really, when you're just chatting with him, a wonderful personality. But his policies are anti-people. There are some people who say, look, there are a lot of Americans who are just attracted to authoritarianism. They want to be controlled by someone. And free thinkers are not of that ilk. Truth Social will mark Trump's return to social media. Oh, I already read that. Truth Social was originally scheduled for a launch sometime in February. We're still in February. But expectations were pushed back after Nunes said the app would be fully operational by the end of March. Monday's release of the app was no doubt a pleasant surprise to digital world investors. But hey, I think that's great if they can get that negativity off of Twitter and off of Facebook and into their own little place where they can just attack each other and hate everybody in the world. That's a wonderful thing. But the problem is, once they're all there together, they have nowhere else to go. There's no fun in it for them. Here's another great article from our friend at Shiner on Security. A new cyber security social contract. The U.S. National Cyber Director, Chris English, wrote an essay outlining a new social contract for the cyber age. Now, what do we think of this? Government speaking, the United States needs a new social contract for the digital age. one that meaningfully alters the relationship between public and private sectors, and proposes a new set of obligations for each. Such a shift is momentous, but not without precedent. From the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906 to the Clean Air Act of 1963 and the public-private revolution in airline safety in the 1990s, the United States has made important adjustments to following profound changes in the economy and technology. A similarly innovative shift in the cyber realm. That is a terrible word. Who calls it the cyber realm? That's worse than metaverse. Metamate. Cybermate. Will likely require an intense process of development and iteration. Still, its contours are already clear. The private sector must prioritize long-term investments in a digital ecosystem that equitably distributes the burden of cyber defense. Government, in turn, must provide more timely and comprehensive threat information while simultaneously treating industry as a vital partner. Finally, both the public and private sectors must commit to moving forward in true collaboration, contributing resources, attention, and blah, blah, blah. Well, here is Bruce's take on this, which is the best part of it. The devil is in the details, of course, but he's 100% right when he writes that the market cannot solve this, that the incentives are all wrong. While he never actually uses the word regulation, the future, he postulates, won't be possible without it. Regulation is how society aligns market incentives with its own values. He also leaves out the NSA, where effectiveness rests on all those global insecurities, and the FBI, whose incessant push for encryption, backdoors, goes against his vision of increased cybersecurity. I'm not sure how he's going to get them on board, or the surveillance capitalists, for that matter. A lot of what he wants will require reining in that particular business model. Good essay, worth reading in full. Well, that is interesting. Where are we going? What is our definition? And this is an article from the Washington Post. And it's fascinating and terrible and heartbreaking all at the same time. To expunge his daughter's murder from the internet, a father created an NFT of the grisly video. It starts as a routine TV segment, an interview with the head of the local Chamber of Commerce. Suddenly, a shot rings out, startling the two-person film crew. A gunman enters off camera. Reporter Allison Parker reacts to the sound, her jaw dropping wide. A steady wave of shots roar as Parker screams. She runs desperately as the camera tumbles to the ground. The clip cuts. The final scene is the legs of the shooter as he advances. The grisly 17-second clip was recorded by videographer Adam Ward on August 26, 2015. This is an old murder, right? Yes, it is. This happened in 2015. But it's new by what this father's going to do. That's why we're talking about it. And he and Parker were fatally shot by a disgruntled former colleague while reporting near Roanoke. Broadcasting live, the horrifying footage quickly went viral, viewed millions of times on Facebook, YouTube, and other sites. 6 years later, it still gets tens of thousands of views despite the efforts of Parker's father, Andy, to eliminate the clips from the internet. Dora remembers. And now, this is the interesting part of it. Andy Parker, the father of the killed woman, the murdered woman, has transformed the clip of the killings into an NFT, a non-fungible token, in a complex and potentially futile bid to claim ownership over the killing of his daughter. He wants to use the copyright on that video, to stop big tech, Google, Facebook, Apple, from propagating the murder of his child. This is a Hail Mary, an act of desperation. While YouTube and Facebook say they've taken down thousands of clips of the murders, dozens have remained on the platforms. Through the years, Parker has deployed a range of strategies for erasing the stragglers, the remaining videos, the copies of the videos, enlisting a fleet of allies to search and flag the videos and filing complaints with federal regulators. Last month, he launched a congressional campaign focused partly on holding social media accountable for the spread of harmful content on their sites. So this is a very long and interesting article. I'll put the link in chat. Ooh, it's a long link. And so what this father is trying to do is trying to take this killing of his daughter, copyright it as an NFT, and then if it gets shown anywhere, he can go to that place and say, look, I own the copyright on this murder tape. You either take it down or you pay me for the use of it. Now, it's not going to work. That's why he says it's a last desperate attempt to make this work. Experts say the case law on NFT ownership is still in the early stages of development, has already prompted a number of copyright disputes. In one instance, a 12-year-old coder sold an NFT collection he created of pixelated whale images called Weird Whales for $300,000. But according to Fortune magazine, users accuse the project of copying a separate image the coder does not appear to own to create the NFT. The boy's father told the BBC he is 100% certain his son has not broken copyright laws, asked lawyers to audit the project. So, I have NFTs, but that doesn't stop somebody from going to my account and right-clicking on the image and saving the image locally to their hard drive and then using it on their website. Or, as my new friend Gabe Wise, who is an artist, has discovered, I'm the one who told him about it. Oh, I reached the character limit of 500 for that article, so let me see if I can post it better. Streamlabs is censoring me. Let me see if I can post this a little bit better. It is a very obnoxiously long URL, my goodness. I'm still deleting. Is there a share button or something? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Trending now. Alert. Oh, this is just messy. This must be the new way that they're tracking us. Okay, I think this will do it. Let me just reload it and see if it still pops up. Yeah. Shorter version. Okay, forget that. Let me see if I can delete this. Can I delete my own message? I don't know if I can. No, I would end up blocking myself. Never mind. So we'll do this. Retry. Shorter link. Ah, that's better. So Gabe Weiss is a friend of mine, new friend of mine on OpenSea. He's an artist, wonderful artist. Does a collaboration with our friend at Soul Curry Art. See if I can find his art for you. Oh, it's not saying I'm logged in. Oh, this is so nasty. Well, this is very annoying. I have to go into my other thing, and my friend here, and do this way. So this father hopes that he can force people into stopping the distribution of the murder of his daughter for 6 years by claiming copyright violation of his NFT. Now, does he own the video? Does he have access to the video? I don't think he does. But I understand what he's trying to do. He's trying to get her murder out of common knowledge. Okay, so here's my OpenSea account, and this is the collaboration between Ishita Banerjee, who is Soul Curry Art, and Gabe Weiss. Isn't that lovely? They each painted half of it, and they put it together, and there's Weiss on the bottom right, and Ishita on the bottom left. It's very beautiful. They're both Cubist artists. So Gabe Weiss, I'm looking at his stuff, and I guess I typed in his name wrong in the search box, and up pops Gabe Weiss. And selling for, where he normally sells for 1 Ethereum, his artwork is selling for 0.001 Ethereum. And there are like 7 things there, and they're all Gabe Weiss stuff, and I'm looking at it, and there's no blue check verified. So I went on to Twitter, and I said, hey Gabe, I know Ishita and Sabet and Ian, and hey, is this you selling for 0.001? Is there a new floor? What's going on? And he wrote back at me and he said, oh no, not again. He said, that guy's spelling his name Weiss with 2 S's. I spell my last name Weiss, W-A-I-S, with 1 S. He said, now I have to go make OpenSea take that down again. So that's what people do. So you can go to this piece of artwork, save it, go into OpenSea, open your account, mint this as your NFT that you're selling, and you'd use their names and underprice it and sell it to some unwitting person. Now that makes you a criminal, but there are some people who don't care. It's blockchain. I'll take my money and run. So what happens to that art for the unwitting buyer who buys what is tantamount to a fake piece of art? Do they get their money back? Does it get taken away from them? I don't know. It's a fascinating topic. I should ask. Maybe I'll ask Gabe on how that works. Little Beyonce is here. Hello. No helium today. And so trying to get a murder of your daughter off the internet is going to be the same problematic topic that Gabe Weiss has by trying to stop the fake Gabe Weisses of the world from reposting his content and reselling it on OpenSea, where Gabe Weiss does all of his work on OpenSea. Let's give Gabe a holla holla for the real person in the world. Art by Gabe. See, when you buy stuff on OpenSea, always buy from a verified blue check mark, because that means they have passed the OpenSea requirements for being an artist posting work. And here's his work. It's very interesting and rather affordable. 0.35 is not a bad price for a piece by Gabe. Now, I like one-of-ones, and one-of-ones are very expensive. Unless there's something that you just can't resist and you have to have it because you have a use for it. So this is Gabe's work. He's a very interesting guy, and I feel for him when people steal his stuff. It's not very nice. This is an interesting one. This is like a video? I don't know what kind of video it is. Like if it's an MP3, an MP4, I don't know. And there we go. And it plays Open Your Eyes is the message. I think it's very beautiful. 12 owners, 12 total. So it's 12 of 12, not 1 of 1, which is not bad. Selling for the low, low price of $1,642 American dollars. Meow. That one hurts. But that's the price you pay when you're an art collector on the internet. And on that note, we're taking our next blood pressure break. Back in a moment. We are back from break here on Bowles TV, BOLES.TV. I'm David Bowles, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Our frames per second was dropping to 30 during our break. I don't know why, but I'm looking at it now and it seems like it's okay. Our upload is at 6,000, which is within the spectrum of being acceptable. Well, it keeps getting warmer and warmer. There's no sunshine, but it's gloomy and sticky, and 63 degrees currently in Jersey City. So we started the show talking about Ethereum, and we're just going to check it one more time because this is sort of our topic for the week. And it's dipping. Not a good sign for the Ethereum lovers. When we started the show, it was here 27.50, and now it has gone down to 26.96. Still up 58 today, which tells you how terrible it was yesterday. And speaking of Ethereum, we've talked how some people think, yesterday we had this conversation, that Bitcoin is necessary to freedom. And what's going on in Canada with the trucker strike and Ukraine and Russia, that the way to get around many of these obstacles of restricting people from moving around is the blockchain. The idea of financial censorship is becoming more pervasive. We have the U.S. confiscating Afghan central bank assets. We have the U.S. threatening Russia with removal from the SWIFT payment system. And if that happens, that's going to be really terrible. Russia's going to be furious because that means they're not going to be able to move any money internationally in the banking system. We have a Canadian government pressuring technology companies and financial institutions to confiscate any funds that are being sent to the Truckers' Freedom Convoy protest. Each of these situations is different, but they are all form a financial censorship. The more aggressive the governments become with financial censorship, whether towards each other or towards their own citizens, the more popular that Bitcoin becomes in the eyes of those on the internet. Every attempt at financial censorship is a marketing campaign for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a censorship-resistant money. No one can prevent you from sending it to anyone else. No one can confiscate it from you without your permission. No one can debase the currency. And that, which we were talking about 20 minutes ago, with these romance scams, you pay somebody on Bitcoin, you send it to them, you're not going to get it back. So make sure you know who you're dealing with. Bitcoin is freedom technology. It gives a user, from individuals to organizations to nation states, the freedom to choose how to use the digital currency. You can hold it. You can spend it. You can send it to someone. Whatever you want to do, you're allowed to do it. No government, company, or individual can impose their views or desires on you, unless it's the IRS and they're going to tax everything you do on crypto. Other than that, you're totally free. If the Afghan central bank has sovereignty over their assets, the U.S. could not confiscate them easily. If the Freedom Convoy raised money through a censorship-resistant currency, no one could have taken those funds from them. This is where the world is headed. Sovereignty, censorship resistance, decentralization, individual rights slowly but surely. Bitcoin is inevitable. It returns the world back to sound money and to individual sovereignty. Those may seem like crazy ideas on the surface, but we are watching multiple examples play out that prove why it is so important. And another person says, however, there's a catch to all of this. Bitcoin is only censorship resistant under certain conditions. If you hold your Bitcoin through a common third-party exchange like Coinbase, then there is still a central controlling authority that could be coerced into confiscating funds. That's why it's popular in the online crypto community to say, not your keys, not your crypto. Basically, you must have a non-custodial wallet. Hold your own keys. I've shown you mine. I have a hard wallet. It's called a hardware wallet. And I have a software wallet. They're different. The important stuff is held in the hardware wallet. The exchange, the daily stuff, moving money back and forth goes into the soft wallet. It's much more secure that way. The soft money wallet is online. The hard wallet is only in my hand. Basically, you must have a non-custodial wallet, hold your own keys to ensure that your Bitcoin cannot fall victim to financial censorship. This isn't as easy or convenient as using a third-party exchange, but Bitcoin diehards think it's absolutely worth the extra effort. And yesterday I got an email from Coinbase saying, hey, we have a hardware wallet. It's a ledger, and it connects to your Coinbase account. Now, people who don't know would be fooled into thinking, oh, it's a hardware wallet, I control the keys. But if it's connected to Coinbase, in any way, it can be taken from you, even if you're holding it in the palm of your hand. If you hold Bitcoin in the correct way, meaning taking full ownership, taking self-custody, your money cannot be taken. Software wallets have a passphrase of 12 words. Hardware wallets have a passphrase of 24 words. Bitcoin is censorship resistant. I've had my funds frozen before because banks don't like crypto. As a result, I use my Bitcoin to keep my company going and keeping everybody paid. Well, okay then. Well, we just talked about a father who was trying to get the murder of his daughter off the internet. And while we support the idea, it's an impossible task because people have copies of copies of copies, and it's never going to disappear. And if it's an NFT, you're trying to control a copyright that you probably don't own in the first place. Well, now there's this new thing where AI is creating content. And there are people around these AI machines, software, that say, hey, my machine, my robot created this. So my robot, my AI, owns the copyright because it was created. And the copyright law currently says, no. We've tried this before. We've had monkeys in zoos painting paintings. And the zoo then trying to say the monkey owns the copyright on that painting. Don't take a picture of it. You can't have the painting. It belongs to the monkey. And the courts have ruled that no, monkeys do not have rights to what they create because they're not people. And now the same argument's being used against AI. No, it's the monkey argument. AI is incapable of creating something and owning a copyright because they're not a person. And some people are saying, oh, they are people. And the courts are saying, AI is not a person. Computers can now write poems, paint portraits, produce music better than many humans. But when it comes to the realm of intellectual property law, meaning who owns the artwork made by machines cannot receive copyright protection, a federal agency has decided. I add so far to this day because you know it's going to change. The U.S. Copyright Office refused to grant a copyright this month for an image made by an artificial intelligence program called Creativity Machine, ruling that human authorship is a prerequisite to copyright protection. The case will now head to federal court as the AI programmer's owner, Stephen Thaler, plans to file an appeal. Thaler, the founder of the Missouri-based AI firm Imagination Engines, tried to copyright a recent entrance to paradise. A picture that was autonomously created by Creativity Machine's algorithm owner without any human help. Thaler listed the program as the artwork's author and sought copyright as the machine's owner. The case arrives as artists are increasingly using AI to help generate artwork, including works produced by autonomous machines. Abbott, a partner at an LA-based law firm, noted that AI-produced artwork is creating significant commercial value, such as AI-authored paintings that sold for $432,000 at auction in 2018. Well, Dora, now we know that's the answer. Give up your mind and your hand and turn over all of your painting to your computer. There's $420,000 in it for you. The United States Copyright Office has a policy of not allowing that sort of work to be protected. That sort of policy is going to stand in the way of people developing machines that are going to make socially valuable creative works, songs, movies, music. This is really an area where the United States should be a global leader promoting AI development. Working on behalf of Thaler, Abbott has led a series of legal test cases for AI-generated intellectual property, including patents for inventions created by AI programs. As far as the Creativity Machine artwork, the Copyright Office has twice previously rejected Thaler's claims in 2019 and 2020, finding that the work lacked the required human authorship necessary to win a copyright. Hello, Dora. A computer-generated painting, AI, sold for $432,000. And we were just offering some innocent advice for you to give up your mind and your hand and turn over everything artwork to your computer. You don't do any of the work, the machines do the work, and you win $420,000. It wasn't worth repeating, it wasn't that funny. Abbott argued that the human authorship requirement was unconstitutional and unsupported by case law. But you won't be able to copyright it because that's what this story's about. Your computer is not you, so people will pay big money for it, but there's no copyright. But in ruling against Thaler again, the Copyright Review Board's three-person panel cited several cases in which courts refused to extend copyright protection to non-human creators. In 1997, a federal appeals court ruled that a book allegedly authored by non-human spiritual beings could only gain copyright if a human curated the revelations. Similarly, in a separate 2018 case, a monkey was not awarded a copyright for photos that it took with a camera. Thaler must either provide evidence that the work is the product of human authorship, or convince the office to depart from a century of copyright legal theory. The Copyright Board wrote in its February 14 ruling, "He has done neither." Abbott contends that Thaler's case is different from the monkey ruling cited by the Copyright Board, given that no one is trying to have a machine own a copyright. Rather, Thaler wants to own the copyright for artwork created solely by a machine that he built. It's going to be a real issue when someone has AI that makes a song that is genuinely commercially valuable. It's playing on the radio, and people want to listen to it. Then there's a question, do I put my name on this so I can get streaming royalties, or do I admit that the machine made it? In which case, I can't stop anyone from using it however they want. Abbott says he plans to appeal the board's decision in federal court in Washington, D.C. And despite its seemingly inhospitable stance towards AI-created artwork, the Copyright Office's ruling shouldn't be a major issue for artists using AI as a collaboration tool. One startup creates AI-enabled tools for artists. One of the products lets artists upload dozens of their own images and then uses AI to generate them. We've seen that in NFT artwork. Into something new. Art created through Playform's technology was featured in an episode of Silicon Valley. Some are surprised by the Copyright Office decision in the Creativity Machine case, as U.S. copyright laws are designed to account for the human creative process. Other countries like China, he noted, have granted copyrights to autonomous AI. But they don't see the debate becoming a major issue for artists using AI to assist in their work. Artists are using AI as a tool in the same way artists are using the camera. You cannot claim the camera is the artist. Artists are using cameras to create photographs, and that's how photographs get copyrighted. What a mess! It's only going to get worse. Machines can do the work. AI can do the thinking, but they can't get paid. They don't get credit. They don't get the copyright. That will change. 10, 20 years, the machines will do the deciding and the assignment of the copywriting. Now we're going to take our final break, come back and talk about Peloton, which used to be my favorite company in the whole wide world. Until they started doing some really mean and nasty things to people and their customers and their faith in the company. Back in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv. BOLES.TV. Right here with you every weekday at 9 a.m. Well, we'll finish out today with a story about Peloton that appeared yesterday in Ars Technica. And I know that Peloton has been going through a lot of difficult changes lately. And I was a big supporter of Peloton when they first started. This is pre-pandemic. I bought their subscription in the Apple app. And while I didn't have a bike or later a treadmill, I would do the workouts. I had my favorite trainers who I thought were wonderful. And none of this is about the trainers. All this trouble that Peloton is having is from the people who are supposed to know better, who are the experts in business and finance. So this doesn't have the people who are doing the real work. They're not the problem. The problem is in the leadership. And here's what's happening. Peloton has a rust problem. In September of last year, Peloton warehouses, which receive high-end bikes originally manufactured in Taiwan, noticed that paint was flaking off some of the exercise machines. And these machines are $3,000, and for as long as I have known Peloton, I know you can't get a bike. They can't make them fast enough. The cause, was a buildup of rust on non-visible parts of the bike, the inner frame of the seat and handlebars, and did not affect the product's integrity, or so Peloton says. Instead of returning the bikes to the manufacturer, executives hatched a plan, internally called Project Tin Man, to hide the corrosion and send the machines to customers anyway, who would pay between $1,500 and $2,500 to purchase them. The price has gone down since I was looking at them. The project was first revealed in Financial Times Magazine last week, but 8 current and former Peloton employees across 4 U.S. states have provided further details on this operation. They described the plan as nationwide, to avoid yet another costly recall just months after the company's most tragic episode, the death of a child due to the design of its treadmill. Internal documents shown to the Financial Times shows that Tin Man's standard operating procedures were for corrosion to be dealt with using a chemical solution called rust converter, which conceals corrosion by reacting with the rust to form a black layer. Employees said the scheme was called Tin Man to avoid terms such as rust that executives decided were out of step with Peloton's quality brand. It was the single driving factor in my beginning stages of hatred for the company that I had spent the previous year and a half falling in love with. Peloton said the issue affected 6,000 bikes, and that 120 staff had undertaken rigorous testing on the devices to conclude that the rust, which it described as cosmetic oxidation, had no impact on a bike's performance, quality, durability, reliability, or the overall performance of the member's experience. 4 months before the first sighting of rust, Peloton had pressured by the CPSC to recall 125,000 treadmills, costing $4,300. The year before, the company issued a recall on 27,000 clip-in pedals following reports of injury while cycling. 2 warehouse workers who handled the bikes late last year claimed that many with severe rust were being delivered to customers anyway. Peloton says the issue is cosmetic and resolved by sending the products to special locations for rework before they went the final mile to the warehouse, where they would undergo another checkup before being delivered to customers. An internal document read, "It is acceptable if you see some rust through the black layer, as the severity of this rust is reduced using the rust converter." Even for Bike Pluses, products that cost $2,500 that were rusted internally, they were still delivering them. Sometimes the bikes had stuff on the outside, so we couldn't deliver them. But there were a lot of bikes that were rusted on the inside that they still sold. One current employee described their supervisor as pissed that they lacked enough specialists to take care of the issue. "We couldn't keep sending them to our refurbish area. We just had to build them to try to clear the rust off and send them out." Another worker said the secondary check would sort bikes into sellable and non-sellable categories. He added that when Peloton was experiencing low inventories amid a supply chain crisis that made it hard for the company to keep up with demand, some workers felt pressure to reclassify medium rust bikes to light rust so they could be cleared for shipment. Peloton said that was not company policy. There was no direction by Peloton to reclassify or deem this inventory unsaleable, and it is against Peloton's policy and practices for Peloton to put in the marketplace unsaleable inventory. If anyone did so, they were acting against the company's policies and practices. Rust is not covered under warranty, according to the company's website and interactions with members on social media, because it's up to Peloton owners to wipe down their bikes to prevent sweat from causing corrosion. A former employee who worked at Peloton's call center said the company declined to help some customers even if their bikes had been rusted when they received them. Some of these bikes were delivered with rust, and we were not allowed to swap them out. Those were awkward conversations because I had no leeway to make any exceptions. Now, I can imagine a worse thing that would happen. You're buying an expensive bike, you're putting all of your muscle and sweat and leg power into it, and from the very beginning it's rusted out from the inside that you can't see. And they knew about it. But the thing that bothered me the most about Peloton was firing Jen Jacobs. She was my favorite trainer, and she left under this weird cloud of mystery. And I think she's still being a trainer, doing a couple of other things, but there's a difference in doing that to being a Peloton trainer on the network. And I think at one time, the Peloton trainers were said to make like $250,000 a year each. I don't know if they're making that now or if they ever did, but I know the money was good. I thought Jen Jacobs was funny. She was in shape, as they all are. But she was in shape in the right way, not overly defined and still very strong. So Jen Jacobs was one of Peloton's most popular instructors when she suddenly left the company in 2019. I remember it. And she had been there for 3 years. She was the #1 instructor. She announced her departure on Instagram and Facebook, simply writing, "For the last 3 years, this community has been my heart and soul. You have continually amazed me with your strength and commitment and the power of our community. It's with much thought and so much gratitude that I've decided it's time for me to leave Peloton, to pursue other opportunities. But I'm not going out without one last ride." Now, as I understand it, it was not Jen's decision to leave. She was told to leave. While Jacobs did not add any other details about why she left Peloton, people from her classes soon began to speak out. According to a Reddit post, it seems that Jacobs called out a participant in one of her classes who had the username BMI way over 50. BMI, I guess, in that case, over 50 is a fat person. You want your BMI to be below 25, I believe. Then, I guess, Jen added, she's not pedaling, so maybe that's why. That's why her BMI is over 50. The implication is that Jacobs was picking on a user who appeared to have a high BMI or body mass index. However, it seems from the story, from particular class, might not be so cut and dry. A commenter on the Reddit post noted that her actual words were, Dr. Spin Grid, Planet Tacker, M. Hillary, so good. First-time riders stay on that. BMI way over 50, better get on that ride, Kate 35, laughing and breathing. She's not pedaling, that's why. It may be that we never truly know the whole story about what happened that day, but the story is definitely a curious one. And it was weird. And Jen didn't ever say anything. They must have, I don't know, made it worth her while to leave. And I guess you're not allowed to encourage people who are overweight and out of shape to do better. Because then I guess you're fat shaming or age shaming or BMI shaming. At least that was my understanding what happened at the time, is that she made a comment to one of the people in her class and that person complained. And Jen made the scapegoat. And I know that there were some people at Peloton who would talk about Jen and say that she flirts too much, she's too sexy, she's too beautiful, she uses her sexuality to flirt, and that some of the other trainers maybe didn't like that. They wanted it to be more straightforward. I thought she was rather charming and fun. But what do I know? I'm old and ugly. But my BMI is currently under control. Well, we had a wonderful show today. I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions or comments, you can email me, david@bowls.tv. If you have a comment or a question for Jan Marie about ASL or disability or fun facts, you can find her online via email, jana@bowls.tv. On Twitter, we're David Bowles, Facebook Bowles, Instagram Bowles Books, YouTube, BOLES.live or username Bowles Blues, Twitch, we're Bowles TV, no period, and on the TikTok, we are Bowles TV, no period. Here's our Discord server in case you want to join us and say hello and join in the fun. And if you don't have anything else to share now, I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. And may you sleep well, wake up good, and have a wonderful, joyous experience wherever you are. I will see you tomorrow.